are dynamic wellness coaches for health conscious peeps. And here's Amy.
Wow, that is fancy.
That's your introduction.
Thank you.
Today we are doing eggplant Parmesan minus the Parmesan, so it is dairy free, so a faux. We are doing a fajita bake, ooh, yum, 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 with these beautiful peppers. And then we're doing turkey curry salad. We have the rainbow today. We just need blueberries, and we would have every color in the rainbow because we got
all this
purple
yummy
and all
stuff.
this beautiful stuff. So enjoy and take it away.
All right. Welcome, guys. Thank you very much. My name is Amy, and that was Pam, and we are the dynamic duo for health conscious peeps. We love helping people get healthy, and my contribution is teaching you to cook fun, fast, and fabulous food. And today we have some really great stuff that can go really fast. So I've started off by slicing some of the eggplant already, and I'm going to get out my handy dandy glove. This is really done easily on the mandolin. You have really great slices that are even. I'm going to do a little experiment, which I'll tell you about in a second. So I've got the oven going. We're going to throw in a pan and see, but to start with, I want to show you how to mess with this. Sometimes the tags stick to the skin pretty good, so I'm going to cut that off. And away we go. You can just cut off your tip. Don't have to cut it as far back as all the other greens because this just lifts right off. So that's nice, but this gives you a nice handle for doing on the mandolin. And I know on the recipe that I wrote last week that it says the second to the smallest, but I went up another notch, and that's the experiment we're going to go to. I've done second to the smallest, and I've done the next one up. So basically the middle two. There's 4 different slice sizes on this mandolin. I've done the middle 2 because I'm afraid that it's going to dry out a little too quickly, and we are going to get rid of the eggplant squishiness by putting them in the oven, but we don't want to make them papery, so that's going to be the experiment. So this glove, careful. I like to make them, you can make them either the long ways or the round way. The round way is more hassle because it's smaller, but it looks prettier and it cuts better, and we'll go from there. So the picture that's on the Facebook post, that is done with round ones, and it turned out really well, didn't it? So here we go. Hope everybody's having a fabulous July. I'm going to give you a secret, and July is my favorite month, but that's because it's my birthday month. So I will be celebrating tomorrow, and I'm super excited because who doesn't like a birthday, right? And I don't mind getting older because I become wiser and more fabulous with every year. That's my motto, and I'm sticking to it. So, and I really have amazing women in my life that are older than me, and I hope to grow up and be like them someday. So I never mind getting older. Careful, that's why you
Hi, Freya.
Hi, Freya. I'm about to cut some peppers, Freya. All right. We've got our lovely eggplant. I'm going to step over here a second and grab this. So I put the eggplant on here. I've salt and peppered it. This is a really cool pan. It's got some holes in it, so I'm going to be able to see how that works out. Normally on a regular cookie sheet, you'd have to turn them. I might not have to do that. But I have some thicker ones on one side and some thinner ones, and we're going to see which ones work out better. Alrighty. And timer, and let's do 8 minutes. I forget. Timer. Nope. Timer. Why do I always forget how to do this?
That's right.
Just start. It's going. Okay. So we're done with this, and when we're done with the mandolin, always rinse it off so it doesn't get glumpy. All right, there we go. So next, we've got our fajita bake. This is chicken thighs. I trimmed them up and I seasoned them already so we could get going quickly. And I used my fajita bake seasoning, so if you have that, go ahead and put that on there, mix it all in, and then sprinkle a little bit. We'll be doing that on top of the vegetables in a minute. So here's Freya's favorite trick. Take this lovely thing off. Although I did just get my knife sharpened, so I have to be super careful. And yes, I did cut myself already. Because you know, that's the sign of a really good knife. You nick yourself. But I've already got that out of the way, so now I can continue forward with no more cuts.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Freya said her family would not let her have a mandolin.
But if you have a glove, you should be fine. I do always tell the story that my husband at the time when I got my first one did get rid of mine, and because I kept cutting myself, and but I got it back. I went and got another one. Because if you practice, you'll be okay. And then I did find the gloves. So I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you see my board?
Yep.
Here we go. Board. Pepper in half. Hold out the stuff. Easy peasy. Then we're just making nice slices like this. And I love all the colors that we're able to find at the grocery store. Good job, Pam. We've got red and yellow and orange. Super pretty. You can also cut the peppers on the mandolin, which gives them a really even cut, if you would like. Or just use your knife. So we've got that, peppers, and then I started already in on the onion. We're just going to make some nice slices. That one's stuck together. I'm going to do this. That's a little overwhelming if they're big. All right. So this is easy. You cut your onion in half, and we're just making big long slices like this. And I find that if you get to the end and it's this big tall piece like that, you just tip it over, and then you're working with something a little more stable. And there you go. We've got peppers and onions. And this one has a weird growth that makes it solid. Look at that. Don't want these big pieces. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to sprinkle these on top. This recipe is so fun and easy. When I first found it and then did some augmenting on it, I was like, we can make this fast. Because that is what I like to do. Fast, fun, and fabulous. And the faster we get this done, the faster we can go do something else. Look at those silly pieces. Alrighty, and look at our peppers, are so pretty. Peppers. Ta-da-da. All these lovely juices are going to cook down. Alright. Now, you can cover this with cheese, but I think that we should wait a little bit until it's cooked a bit, and then put the cheese on top, and then brown the cheese, because we really want some good juices. I do have some leftover onions, but onions can be overwhelming. So I'm going to get our fajita mix. We have just a little bit left, because we use it up really good. Do a good sprinkling on there. Now, I know in the recipe that I called for sour cream and chips and all these extra fun things, and that's what you're going to garnish all of this with, including the cilantro. So, but for now, look, the cooking part, ta-da, and let's do a bit of salt and pepper. You know what I found is rock salt, real salt in rock form, so I can put it in my handy dandy grinders. So, there we go. And voila, this is ready to go in the oven. But we're going to be looking at our eggplant, which I can smell. Woo, yum. Looking good. You know what's cool? I'm going to show you guys. The eggplant, when it's cooked, it has this really cool consistency. If you get it dried out correctly, it's almost like a bread. And when I was in Italy and learning to not eat bread, but eat bread with everything, I would literally make some of those and have them on the table and use those as a scoop to get sauces and stuff like that rather than bread. They don't soak up like bread does, but they're pretty good. So let's put this over here for soaking. And that fajita bake, you could actually do that part and then stick it in the refrigerator and let it sit for several days before you cooked it if you needed to. So that's a super yummy thing. All right, we can get these out of here. Let's get our meat on for the sauce for the Parmesan. So for the sauce, Pam got a whole bunch of fresh herbs, which we'll do in a second. First, we're going to brown our meat, and we're not putting the sauce with the meat. We're going to keep it separate. That way we have control of the layering when we get to that part. So I'm going to get this baby turned on high, grab our oils. There we go. Oh, look, I brought my utensils this time. This one's a little dirty. What do I want? We'll use this. Spread it on the oils a bit. Love that thing. This is the coolest thing. If you don't have one of these tools, I highly suggest it. It's on my most loved tool list. Even though you don't use it that often, it's one that is certainly very helpful. It's for breaking up meat, and it works really well. So, especially if it's a little bit frozen.
That's from Pampered Chef.
And you can get them at Pampered Chef. You can also get them at Fred Meyer. The Good Grips brand has them. So.
Brittany's watching with Freya. Hi, Brittany.
Hi, Brittany. Welcome. There we go.
Meat from New Land Ranch, by the way.
It is from New Land Ranch, and we'll put a link to that store after this video because they have amazing meat, and they just got in 3 steers that they had raised and now have butchered, and they just got in their turkeys. So if you guys want a turkey that is amazing, it's time to order turkeys, believe it or not. Sorry to bring up Thanksgiving, but it's coming, and you want to be prepared to get an organic turkey. You can order from them, and they're awesome. There's our oven. Ta-da! Let's see. Ooh, looking good. Let's see what we got. They're cooking kind of exactly the same. Huh. So, I did 8 minutes. I'm going to flip them. See how they're kind of brown? They're still really wet, but they're looking great. And now, just wondering, these are the thin ones that I'm flipping. Oh, these ones are a little bit brown. That's beautiful. Okay, I need to move this actually, and not let all the heat out of the oven. I have a really bad habit of letting all the heat out of the oven and all the cold out of the refrigerator. So let's take care of that. That one. Yeah, these thicker ones, oh, they're pretty good, but spongy still. This is good. I always surprise clients if they say they don't like eggplant. This is one of the dishes that I try to introduce because it's so yummy and it's not your traditional squishy eggplant type. So, let's get this going a little bit. Have that on medium. Okay. Where'd my salt and pepper go? We're going to salt and pepper this a little bit. Again. And put it back in the oven for, I'm going to do 5 minutes and see where we end up. I think that they
Hit timer
are
again.
doing really well, and it will take longer if it was a regular baking dish. I would have done 8 minutes again. So it's going. When it goes solid, it's going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, in the meat, we're going to do some salt and pepper. And this is hamburger, this is beef, so let's do a nice dead 10 brown. Smash it up. Then I'm going to use the juices from the meat to make the sauce. That's yumminess. This can be done without meat. Just lots of layering of the eggplant, and then, you know, if you want to put some cheese in it, I find the meat and the eggplant and the sauce, though, are really hearty and they don't really call for cheese. If you're trying to avoid it, it's just a really nice way to not miss it. Let's see, I've got fresh herbs for the sauce. We're going to use some just Italian seasoning to put into the meat. Everything to be super tasty. That looked like a lot, but I wasn't coming out very fast, so it's maybe 2 tablespoons. All right, that's going to go slowly. In the meantime, we can start to smash up our stuff for the sauce. So I like to blend up the peppers and onions to go into the sauce. This just kind of keeps everything smooth. If you like a chunky sauce, then just dice your peppers and onions, and then you'll have chunk, which is good too. Either way, but since you have meat, that's the chunk, and we're good to go. So we can start this, a little noisy. One floating on top. Now we got it. Okay, we'll set that aside so we can use it. Get this. Keep going. A little too much. Okay, I am going to need a second bowl. There we go. We've got herbs. The parsley and the basil we can chop in the Ninja. Okay? Then, this rosemary, you can, but then that leaves some woody chunks. So I tend to chop this with a knife better. Or if you have a poppy chopper. Or what's it called? The thing you hit from Pampered Chef. I call it a poppy chopper. So, and also the thyme. Thyme is a little bit of a pain, but I find if you hold the really soft parts at the top and you pull the leaves off towards the back, that works well, and then you turn it and you pull this way, and wherever it's the most tender is where it's going to break off, so you don't really need to worry about getting that stem part out, because it really is just super tender and not going to make too big of a deal for it. So that pulls off. Actually, let's take that. And those are so small, those leaves, that you can take the ones that have the stem on it and chop them if you would like, or just put it all in there. Because remember, you're going to have other chunks of stuff, so not a big deal. These more delicate things in the, well, they're not more delicate, they're more woody actually, in the food processor doesn't work out so great, so in my experience. So there we go. Good stuff. All right, here's our thyme. Smells so good. So I really love putting fresh in your sauce if you can, because it just makes a big difference. And this is the same sauce that we use for our regular lasagna and all that. And there's my timer. Like this. Keep throwing some down here that need to go in there. And some in here that need to go down there. Alrighty. Aha! Here we're looking perfect. Tongs. Alright. See how these are starting to curl on the sides? Those are perfect. These ones too. They're a little bit more meaty. And I think I like them like that. They're very well dried. I would do them just a little longer. Let's take these thinner ones off. And let's see. I'm going to start by putting them in here. on each side for the ones that are thicker. Timer 3. Oop, timer 3. There we go. See how that goes. Got one little frozen spot left. Really good. You want to smell the meat, but you also want to smell the fragrance of the spices. If you don't smell that, then you might consider putting a little bit more. That's what I would do. All right, we got a rosemary, and our rosemary is super woody. So just picking off the leaves works really well. Right? Ooh, super stuck. Okay. Now, we bought the boxes of herbs for this, and I think we need to, if you find that they're going to start going bad before we get to the rest of them, because I used about half the box, throw them in the freezer, because pretty soon we're going to start making broth. And it's really yummy to add fresh or frozen herbs to the broth, and they don't have to be fresh. They just want to be pungent, and fresh is so amazing. So even frozen, fresh can be super yummy. There. So I'm going to take this, you can see here, rosemary, and I'm just going to chop it. Just keep going crossways. You can see the long spines. You can scoop it up. Keep going until I don't see any more big pieces. There we go. Okay, I'm going to add that to the thyme. Ooh, there's some big pieces. And I'll do more of this. There, oops. Go. Oven. Yes, perfect. See how they're curling? Just slightly around the edges. That means they're drying out really well. So, let's throw these in over here. See how they're not as flippy floppy as they were? That's beautiful. You can also do this on the grill. Just pay attention because they do dry. So these will go from this nice, perfect, to crispy and burnt pretty fast. So I'm going to put another rack on go, another round. If you have a baking sheet, or a drying rack that can go into the oven, like not a drying, a cooling rack that can go into the oven, that's another thing you could put these things on so that there's the air underneath. I really like that. There's air underneath. Even though it needs a little bit of salt and pepper on the counter. And the floor. It'll be well worth it.
Tucker will be in a little bit.
Tucker will like the salt and pepper. Yep. The vacuum cleaner. Alright, we're going to put those in. And 8 minutes again.
Freya said talk. It's too quiet. She's concentrating.
I'm in my own little world. This stuff is lit. Okay. Hi, Freya.
Do you want me to do that?
No, I got it. That's it. That's all the time we're doing. That's all the time we have time for. There we go. And there's some in there. I'm going to put it over here. Oh, back time. Okay, that's going. I was certainly lost in my own little world right there for a minute. Okay, but you know what I was thinking, guys, is that this last weekend we had a cook-off with a smoker, and for the very first time, I participated in helping someone to cook a whole pig, and it was really fun. Never imagined. So now I'm making broth, so that's where the time took me, because I put time in the broth.
Dennis thought the sound was turned off. Amy's never quiet.
You caught me. My one quiet moment. There you go. This is almost done. And looking good. And that's almost done. And we're going to do this. And we're really fast, guys. Especially when I start concentrating, I guess. So, I need a bowl for this. Let's choose this one. More eggplant everywhere. Did everybody find eggplants? Because I know Pam had a little bit of trouble doing that. And when you do, you want them to be firm as possible. Hers are really good. What happens is the unfirm ones, their seeds start to overgrow, and then that makes the inside squishy, kind of like a cucumber, the same way. So it gets kind of strange, but we've got that. We've got our meat, and I'm not even going to turn the burner off. I'm going to go straight from having meat in here to putting in our veggies that we already have prepped, mostly. Let's see. Yeah, this is looking good. You want it to be pretty broken up so as not to have any too big of chunks. Alrighty. Let's get this going. And then it's sauce time. And if there's some meat particles in there, it's not a big deal. You just want the control of meat on everything. Spread evenly. I feel like I should sing. Alright, meat's off.
Freya says she's seen smaller eggplants. Is that a normal size for what I got?
Yours are on the bigger side, but they're nice because then you can make the bigger rounds. So then there's the long skinny ones, which I think are Asian ones. Oh, and there's the ones that are long skinny and they're like a purple and white tie-dye almost. Those are super cool. Those are ones that are really hard to make into this because they're thin. So if you can get one that's about that big around, like a baseball, that is ideal and firm and kind of a uniform size top to bottom is a little bit better as well. But then that gives you some play if there are different sizes, which we have, to being able to make a really nice layer. So it's fun, play with it. And you can also do the same thing with zucchini. So the zucchini I usually do in a lasagna, and I do that one with cheese, just because it's a different texture, I guess. There's that.
We've done eggplant before.
Yeah. With the lasagna. This is basically an eggplant lasagna. We call it parm because it would be duplicatable. Although the parm normally would be fried and slathered in flour. You know they actually flour them in Italy. You get a true Parmesan. So my name is completely wrong, I guess, for it, but that's okay. Usually see Pam and I trying to figure out how to spell faux.
I spelled it right.
I think you caught it. Because I wrote F-O-U-X. No, you said F-O-U-X.
How do you spell it?
F-A-U-X.
F-A-U-X, okay.
Yeah. We both said F-O-U-X and then
no,
I
said F-A-U-X. Or that's what I typed. F-A-U-X, yeah.
As long as we typed it, that's fine. That's because I went and I changed it. First I had it and I had saved it and even made the PDF, and then I went and I changed it and made the PDF. So, okay, that's going to get up to temperature again. I'm going to put a little bit of salt. Because why not? A little bit of pepper. Not much. I don't normally salt things. I don't salt things heavily at all because we want other flavors to show through. But the salt and pepper kind of aid in the breaking down, and it's like spicy, so I'm getting my eyes away from it since we didn't light our candle. These onions are so gorgeous and big and like juicy that they didn't actually make my eyes sting at all when I was cutting them, just when the fumes are coming off of there. So let's chop up our Italian parsley and beautiful basil from Pam's garden. And there's our eggplant. Whoop, looking good.
Do you want me to come flip all those?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Do you want me to move them to the counter, or are you okay with this being open like that?
Just put them right down on the counter.
Save energy. There you go. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, when you're doing the herbs in here, they're soft, so you just want to kind of tap it. It does a pretty good job. Let's see. Oh, and it smells so good. Nom, nom, nom. Now, if you have extra basil or set aside some basil, you can chop that to garnish the top once it is cooked or you're serving it. Alright, that is good.
Do I need more salt and pepper?
Yeah. Salt and pepper. I tend to use more salt and pepper when there's beef or eggplant because it's can just use some enhancement. Not enhancement, but it does enhance the flavor. So we've got some good onion and peppers going here. You want to cook this down till it looks as if it would be kind of like a clear color that you would do if it was in chunks. Just makes it nice. And adding the pepper to it just adds a different element. It's amazing when I went without a pepper one time and I was like, wait, there's something missing, it's not balanced. It just balances the tomatoes and the onions so well. So, we got that. That's going. I'm going to set this to the side so we don't need it. Let's see yet. Till we go build our lovely thing. Now the eggplant Parmesan also, if you build it and then you let it sit for a couple of days and then you cook it, it's amazing. It just lets all those juices soak in and flavors. It's super yummy. So I'm going to put our herbs in. Let them come to heat it up. Yumminess. And at this point, there's no wrong way. You can do this first, and then you can put in your tomatoes, or you can do your tomatoes. But since I already put the stuff to grind in here, and now I need it for the tomatoes, we're doing that first. These ones are big whole ones, super cool. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Let's get stirred. What? People are saying stuff.
My husband
Oh.
said Pam should show you her new ring on camera.
Silliness. and this thing is floating. Look at that. There's one.
Spit at you.
It like, I don't know, I can't even see the...
I think you got a little full there.
Did I do, I don't even know if the thing's in there. Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, it's a mess. We're going to scoop the top off first. And open it up. Hang on to the blade. Aha! And go wash my hands. Did you set the timer again?
Oh, it's not moving. No, I did 8 minutes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
They're starting to get a little curly. You'll smell them. They're yummy.
These were the thicker ones, right?
Yes, I think the thicker ones are better. So you want the, if number 1 is the thinnest, you want number 3, second from the largest. If that makes any sense. So we'll have to change that on the recipes. Oh yeah. Alright, that is gorgeous. And it's going to sit and simmer. We're going to get all this mess out of here. And do some salad. Let it go there. Dun, dun, dun. And that, I don't need. Little cleanup. And turn my sauce. It splatters because it's thick, so keep an eye on it. As it's coming up to temperature.
Tilt it up so we can see it.
Can you see that? All the spice herbs in there, fresh herbs, so pretty. So that's super yummy. Alright, I'm gonna turn it to like medium low and not cook my spatula, which I'm really good at doing that. And wipe this off tomato. Time. Dun, dun, dun. Who made salads for the 4th? Which ones turned out well? Anyone? Anyone? Good stuff. Okay. Apples. I already chopped the majority of apples. You want about the same amount of apples as you have turkey. So, poundage-wise, sometimes I'll even measure it. So, when I'm doing a big, huge batch. But the trick with the apples, to make it easy to cut, is you cut it in half, okay? Then you use a core, and you take out the core, and you can use this core to take out these parts too, or you can use a knife. Sometimes they go one side and the next, and that as well. And this little guy, one side and next. There we go. Then we want just squares. So you chop this 4 ways, and then you pull it in half. Do one slice that way, and then you can slice this way about the same. Now, you should have all made, or know how to make, the curry mayonnaise for this salad, to dress it. And the sooner you can get the apples and the stuff cut and the dressing on it, the better the apples will turn out as far as preserving them and not turning brown. So we've got that. And it takes about 1 cup of mayonnaise per 1 pound of turkey and 1 pound of the apples. So we're going to use just 2 of these. These are really big. Sometimes it takes 3 slices, sometimes it takes 2. When it's this big, we're super good. So we're going to say 1 for sandwiches. We've got 1 pound of apples. There we go. Yeah, these are good. I'm going to pull those out. Okay.
You want the fajitas in here, or you want to?
No, we're going to let the fajitas set. So the instructions for the fajitas are there, and I really think it's best if you put it together and you let it set overnight till the next day. Makes it even yummier. There you go. Then do 1 more batch of those from the red bowl there. So the turkey is really nice. When you get the size 10 slice, it's instructed in their shopping list, you can then slice this way about the same width as the 10. So you almost have it, you have your first part of your square started. And it is really nice when the pieces are this big, because you don't have to do much. There's 1, and there's 1. There we go. Turn it around. Then you put this over spinach and you have a really balanced salad. Lots of greens, you could do microgreens, spinach or just regular mixed greens, lettuce, and it's lovely. And you want to garnish it with some cranberries, cashews if you like them, or slivered almonds are good, right? The recipe calls for about 4 stalks of green onions, and I cut all 8 of mine, so I'm going to just do a sprinkle in there. Mix it up. I find it good to mix the dry ingredients, these things, first. Look at your balance of onion in there, see how you like it, and then add your mayonnaise. But you do want to add your mayonnaise pretty quickly, because then it preserves everything. So a cup of mayonnaise for your 1 pound of turkey, 1 pound of apples, and 2 or 3, 4 shoots of green onion, depending on your preference, and you have an amazing salad. So there we go. Oh,
Don't forget the salt and pepper.
don't forget salt and pepper. It's really easy not to. Okay, this is going. Now the sauce that was in those that we used, fairly thick, so I don't feel like I need to cook it down very much, so we're going to start layering some of the eggplant, because that's where we're ready to go. Alright. See, this one's a little bit. See how they're kind of spongy? They're really good. Do you want to try it? They're different. They're not actually that full of taste, so you can add stuff to them. If you have an hors d'oeuvre plate with aperitivo, olives, mustard seed, and cheese and salami, and you don't want to put the crackers or anything with it, this is really cool. And when you put the salt and pepper on there, yum, yum. Super good. So these are perfect. Kind of dried out, but not crispy. So, good job, Pam.
Thanks.
Got a nice pile of those. Grab our meat. And let's see. Little ladle. I'm going to pull this over. Okay. Turn that off. I start with 2 eggs, if you would please, Pam. Forgetting my instructions already. So, you want to take about, thank you, 2 cups of sauce because that's what's going to be your top layer. Okay? So, that's a nice top layer. Set that aside. Then, I'm going to take 2 eggs. 3, which how many did I ask for? Did I not put egg on the list? Huh.
There was no eggs on the shopping list.
Eggplant. You're right, there's no eggs. Holy schmolies. Sorry guys. There should be eggs. And I think it's 2. So, 2 it is. You're going to take 2 eggs. And you're slowly going to mix in some sauce so that we don't scramble the eggs. But we're creating a thickener. And let's see, what do I want in this? So I'm going to mix mine up. I'm going to pull this over here. And this is hot. Normally, I would let this set a little bit. You might even throw it in the freezer or the refrigerator. But I'm going to do this on the fly, so we're just going to, a few drops at a time, put this in here. So that it doesn't scramble. But it's going to make a thickener, and it's good added protein. This is all the arm workout you'll need for the day. Woo! You want it to stay smooth. See how warm it's getting? Yet we're doing fine. Okay. Does kind of change the color. That's why I take a little bit off for the top. So you can make it the super red. And we don't need the thickener on top. So. See, I'm slowly scooping to give the other arm a rest. Just a minute, I'll show you the difference in color. It's quite a bit. Yeah.
If someone couldn't eat eggs, what could they do?
Go without. Cook your sauce down a little bit more so that it's fairly thick. Not quite like ketchup-y, but just thicker. So this is kind of a time saver, if you will. And it's not entirely necessary. What was that one for?
Turkey curry.
Turkey curry. Yeah, I did the turkey curry. I did it in the blue bowl. Oh, all right. Here we go. So, and this is hot now too, so we're good to go. Just put a little bit more there. Okay. Now look at the difference in color here. We've got the red, and then we have this. Can you see that?
Looks creamy.
Does it? Yeah. It just makes it look creamy. It's good. Get all your herbs off your whiskey back into there. Okay. So it just helps it set, and it's not absolutely necessary, but we'll just put a little bit in there. I was looking at the color when I put it in there. I was like, wait a minute, that's not right. There we go. So then you just put in some of these babies down, and I do like to overlap them. And then if I see a really pretty one, I set it aside for the top because we want the top to be the prettiest. So kind of pick out the ones that you would like for the top. All kind of uniform I tend to go for. And the ones that are not would just stick down here. Overlapping a little bit so that there's no bare stuff showing through. That's a pretty one. Pretty one. Here's all our pretty ones. These ones. And see, it's good so you can have smaller ones and bigger ones. They fit really well. There you go. Just a little tiny bit of sauce. Just kind of flavor all of that. And then half of your meat crumbled. I would use my fingers normally, but it's hot still, so I'm just gonna do that. Oh my gosh, it smells so good too. Ta-da! That's about half. Okay. And then we do a little bit of sauce in. And some more eggplant. Now, there's going to be eggplant left over, so I think I will take some of them. Oh, and these are the thin ones. We're going to double up on the thin ones. Take some and make some hors d'oeuvres and show you guys samples of those that you could make when there's extra. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. There we go. That one done. And then a really good layering of sauce on this one. Seal it all in. Ta-da! Okay, then the rest of our meat. Ooh, it's juicy. See. Oh, that'll be fine. So, see, this is a good thing we put the egg in there too. Still got some yummy juices. Look at all that yumminess. Ah, so good. There we go. And we've got quite a bit of saucy here. So I'm going to push that in there. And then go back to this. How are we looking with these guys? Oh, good. And there's some pretty ones. So we'll just use up these. Ta-da!
So we didn't need 4.
We did not need 4. They were quite large. And they're not normally that big. So, and it's really hard. I will confess, writing those recipes sometimes is a little bit confusing because eggplants can be different sizes. But since we're going to have some left over, then I'll just have, we need like one more. We'll just,
You got 6 minutes.
there we go. This is the good start. So you see, you can kind of make it pretty, overlap a bit like that, like a pretty quilt. One goes in the corner. So then you're going to take your red bread sauce and just spread it like that. Just a nice layer. Like so. The cool thing about both of these dishes is that they can be kept uncooked for a while, or if you're going to somewhere or camping, you can actually freeze these and then reheat them if you're trailer camping. Throw them in the oven. There you go. That's as far as I'm going to go because we're going to get the other ones out in a minute. But there you go. Have it. It's pretty. And then you can sprinkle some of your basil raw when you serve it. It's really good. And if you really want to, you could put Parmesan cheese in this. And it'll be real Parmesan. So that's good. And with your leftover sauce, look, I've got some leftover sauce with egg in it. If you want to, I'm going to make something out of this, and we'll show you what it is in a post. Because you don't want to mix it back in with this. If you were going to use the leftover regular sauce, you could put it on some spaghetti. We actually have a nice amount left that it could make a nice spaghetti dinner for 2 weeks and go from there. So I'm going to do a little bit more in here. And there you have it. We've got fajita bake. Ooh, let's line that up. Da, 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 da. Eggplant Parmesan, not Parmesan, and turkey curry salad. Voila. Easy peasy. And 1 hour. Champion. And guys, I need to know if this is helpful, if starting from scratch would be better. Like if I say get everybody's vegetables ready and then I'll show you step by step. But I try to get some of it done so that I'm not spending so much time on air and I'm showing you just one of the apples and one of the peppers and one of the eggplant type thing. Like, what do you want from me that is helpful? If I'm doing it all with you or if I'm showing you the steps so that then you're stopping and starting or going on as you see fit. So, I'm looking for your input. I love you guys. I love doing this for you and I love being able to help people find food that is fun, fast, and fabulous. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you for being here.